Now that the riots in Baltimore are in history's rearview mirror, we can reflect on their lessons. First and foremost, police departments have to stop trying to cover up police-related deaths and instead get out in front of them. Freddie Gray died while in Baltimore police custody on April 19th. The first major protest that turned violent was April 25th. In those 6 days, Baltimore started boiling over with suspicion and anger. In those 6 days, Baltimore police had the opportunity to work with clergy and the neighborhoods to keep the peace. Instead, Baltimore police resorted to putting up that blue line that separates the neighborhood from the police department. That blue line must be destroyed. Cops have a sworn duty to protect citizens from crime, even when, especially when, they are committed by other cops. A recent poll shows that 96% of Americans believe there's going to be more racial violence in cities across America this summer. Now is the time for police departments across the country to work on community relations so that trust and lines of communication are already established before the next incident turns into riots. There is no good reason for the arrest of Freddie Gray. His treatment while in custody is questionable at best, criminal at worst. When these cases arise, good cops, who are in the majority, have to stand with the citizens against the potentially bad cops. And now to the rioters. The protest in Baltimore only became violent when a few instigators infiltrated the crowd and took advantage of the situation for their own vile reasons. The half-witted tactic by government and police officials in Baltimore and in Ferguson, by the way, to allow the protesters to let off a little steam, destroyed businesses, lives, and neighborhoods. And the tactic is inherently racist because this is only allowed to happen in black neighborhoods. Believe me, if the violent protesters would have threatened the waterfront district in Baltimore or some rich white area, the Maryland National Guard would have moved in and used force. It is sinister to allow this behavior in minority neighborhoods and not offer the same protection of a white neighborhood. The very first time a person throws a stone or sets a fire, you arrest them. You stop the violence before it escalates out of control. And when you fail to do that, you not only fail to protect the peaceful protesters, but also their cause. And finally, the national media coverage of the riots in Baltimore have been embarrassing, incendiary, and irresponsible. Lives and cities are at stake. Stop covering the riots like you're covering a sporting event. As much as the police need to change their tactics, the news media needs to change theirs. Too many reporters looking for fame in the chaos have overstepped their bounds and have made themselves part of the story, thus making themselves part of the problem. These are just some of the lessons from the Baltimore riots. Did we learn any of them? I guess we'll find out this summer. I'm Larry Menti. See you next week.